Słuchacie Radio Supła.
Jest z nami Gabriel Rios i zgodził się odpowiedzieć na kilka pytań. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really fine. And you?
I'm good, actually. Looking forward. I have a bucket of strawberries right next to me, so I'm doing good.
Is it your first time in Poland?
Yes, it's my first time in Poland. Yeah, it's like waking up this morning and being in a different country. It's interesting.
So you don't have time to sightsee?
Not really, but we were lucky enough to have to get in the car for 3 hours, and that means that you at least crisscross some part of the country. So that was great. Sometimes you go into a country, you play the gig, and you don't see anything except a couple of streets. So that was cool. I ate some traditional food, which was amazing, and of course I cannot pronounce any of the things I ate, but they were really good. Yes.
Your first record, Ghost Boy, was based on Latin electronica hip-hop. Why did you decide to change your image as a musician? Your music right now is really instrumental, kind of melancholic, minimalistic. Why did you decide to become a singer-songwriter?
I kind of followed what was happening in my own story in terms of growing a bit uncomfortable with performing the way I was before. It was nice for a couple of years, but all of a sudden something stopped being fun. And it's difficult to know why that happened, because I'm not really against any kind of music or anything I did in the past, but maybe I like to believe that we have something inside that is guiding us, and sometimes the only way to move forward is really to sort of shed your skin in a dramatic way and stop what you're doing. And that happened to me. Maybe I was growing more attracted to other kinds of music. Maybe I realized that what I was doing live is not necessarily what I was listening to at home. And it was pretty drastic. So I got tired of playing with a really big band and making albums in the computer, and changed the focus to just writing songs on my guitar by myself and performing alone. That's what changed everything, really.
Don't you think singer-songwriters get more and more popular? Aren't you afraid people will get bored of this kind of music?
It's interesting. I think you are always part of a larger movement of things, I guess, and it has become more popular probably as a reaction to whatever was happening before in terms of big bands and a lot of electronic music. And it's not that those things stop existing, but I think there is a hunger maybe to watch people scale it down. As much in the audience as in the performers, I think there is a growing attraction to see things that seem more real. It's weird. I don't know why it really happened. I guess we're part of this bigger movement of things that happen. But I'm not afraid of people becoming more bored, because I think we're all in the same boat. And if I feel like I want to hear these songs come out of my mouth and my fingers, then it's probably because I'm also part of the audience, and I consider myself the same as the audience. So I hope that there's always space to do what I do, because I need people to gather. Otherwise I'm alone, and I don't want to be alone with my songs.
People find your music thanks to a very popular remix of your song Gold. Do you feel okay with that, or does it bother you?
No, it doesn't. These days I learned a lot from it, because originally when it came out I didn't really pay much attention to it. It didn't really bother me, because these days people can really do whatever they want. In terms of the remix, people just found a live version of Golden, and started to do remixes. And Thomas Jack, he did his own version, which really respected the structure of the song actually, and brought a lot of attention to the original song that I would have never had were it not for him. So let's say that in the beginning I didn't even pay much attention to it, and then I saw how many people were finding the original music, and then I was very grateful for it actually. Yeah.
To write your last songs, you moved to New York. Is it a better inspiring place than Belgium, Europe?
Yeah, for this record probably. It depends where you are in your life. I think I needed to be in an English-speaking part of the world again, because I think it changes your lyrics and it changes how you write songs. You become more self-conscious of what you're saying and of your words, and it became more naked since I decided to just perform with the guitar and then with the cello and the bass. So I don't think that could have happened anywhere else, because there is a culture in New York of going to check out live music, and I don't think that that really exists in the same way everywhere else. There's a lot of opportunities to actually perform at a street level, in terms of in a place where people can just walk in and catch you doing what you're doing. And in Belgium it's automatically more, it's bigger in terms of like you have to have a song on the radio in order to really play the clubs and festivals. So it's not that America is certainly not an easy place to make money out of music, but at least you can get out on a little stage and try your stuff out a lot.
Your Puerto Rican roots have an influence on your music, lyrics, etc.?
I'm sure they do. I just don't know how. Not right now in the most obvious way in terms of language. I mean, I'm not singing in Spanish right now, except for a couple of songs sometimes. So maybe just in whatever shaped the person who I am. And I don't really know what kind of measurements or quantities are involved in that, but I'm sure there's a lot that has to do with me coming from where I come from. I mean, Puerto Rico is an island in the middle of the sea, and we always tended to do whatever we wanted to do with music and with other influences that are coming from outside. I think it's similar to Belgium in that way, because for other reasons, Belgium being in the middle of Europe, everything passes through, and I grew up with a lot of different kinds of music, and I guess the Latin attitude is in there somewhere, even though it doesn't sound like it. Good question.
Why did you decide to perform at Halfway Festival?
Recently we have a new agent representing us from England, and it's a great time for me because he's basically finding places where he thinks that people come to listen to music like what I do and what a lot of people do these days, which really kind of asks for an audience that wants to listen and be present. It's not a rock festival or it's not a dance festival, and not that there's nothing wrong with that, but there is an intimate vibe to these places, and it makes a big difference for us, because sometimes you can play at a festival where there's a tent right next to you, or there's a DJ, or where there's another band at the same time, and they can't really hear what you're doing. So it's great. I think there's a lot of new festivals that are popping up in this way. So I'm lucky that they wanted to have us actually so far away from where I live.
We're lucky too. Thank you for the conversation and good luck on your concert.
Thank you so much.
Out of the way now, we're going for gold, and honed in our claim, just like gold, funding knives. Out of the city and into this room, from the only one coming down.
Radio Supeł.